I thought I knew exactly what my mother thought of me. The creative daughter, the unstable daughter, the one who never quite measured up. But I never expected her to call me a beggar in front of the entire family. It happened on Thanksgiving. 14 people were sitting around my mother's dining table when she raised her wine glass, smiled proudly, and said, "One daughter is a lawyer, the other is a beggar." For a second, nobody moved. Then the table exploded with laughter. And I was the beggar. My name is Gia Parker. I was 38 years old that Thanksgiving, and despite what my mother had spent years implying, I wasn't broke. I paid my own rent, I bought my own groceries, I paid every bill that came through my door. I had never once asked my mother for money. I was a floral designer. I created wedding arrangements, arches, centerpieces, and bouquets. But to my mother, my career was always just that little flower thing. My older sister, Claire, was different. Claire was 42, a lawyer, and the daughter my mother loved introducing before dessert was even served. She's in law. Those 3 words opened doors for my mother. My career usually required an explanation, and I learned that difference when I was 17. One afternoon, I came home carrying an art award from school. It wasn't anything huge, just a certificate with my name printed across the top and a blue ribbon stapled to the corner. I had carried it home inside a plastic folder because I was afraid it would bend. Mom was slicing apples at the kitchen counter. I showed her. She looked at it for maybe 3 seconds. "That's nice, honey." Then Claire walked through the door. She had been accepted into a summer business program. Mom immediately dropped the knife, hugged her, and started asking questions. My certificate stayed on the counter beside the apple peels. I remember staring at it while Claire talked. That was probably the first time I learned to make my happiness smaller before someone else could take it away. Thankfully, there had always been one person who made me feel different. My grandmother, Eleanor. She used to sit beside me while I sketched flowers at her kitchen table. She would smile and tell me that making something beautiful was not a waste of a life. After she died, I kept her pearl earrings. I wore them on days when I needed to remember that at least one person in my family had truly understood me. My father, Robert, understood too. Not perfectly, but enough to soften my mother's comparisons. Then he died. And after that, there was nobody left in the house who challenged Mom when she compared us. Claire had the career. I had the hobby. Claire had ambition. I was finding myself. Every compliment I received came with a ceiling. 3 days before Thanksgiving, Mom called to confirm I was coming. Before hanging up, she added, "Wear something nice. Claire's coming straight from the city." I looked at Grandma Eleanor's pearls sitting on my dresser. Even before anyone raised a glass, I already knew which daughter my mother wanted everyone to notice. Then something happened that changed everything. 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, I was working at my floral studio when a woman named Rebecca Cole came in to pick up an arrangement for a corporate dinner. She was in her late 40s, sharp suit, calm voice, the kind of person who noticed everything without staring. While I wrapped the flowers, she asked if I had siblings. I mentioned Claire. "My sister's a lawyer." Rebecca paused. "Claire Parker?" I nodded. Something changed in her expression. I thought she left her firm earlier this year. My hand stopped over the ribbon. "No, she's still there." At least that was what Mom had been telling everyone. Rebecca immediately backed off. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. Anything I know professionally isn't mine to share. Then she added quietly, "But some things are public." That sentence followed me home. I hated myself a little for searching. At first, it felt petty, like I was looking for proof that Claire was imperfect. But what I found didn't make me happy. It made me uncomfortable. Claire had left her firm almost 6 months earlier. Around the same time, the firm had undergone an internal review involving questionable billing practices. There were disputed bills and adjustments totaling around $200,000. Nothing I found proved Claire had committed a crime. There were no charges, but her departure had happened during the review, and Mom had never mentioned a word. Just the week before, she had told Aunt Carol that Claire was busier than ever. I closed my laptop. Maybe Claire was embarrassed. Maybe she needed time.